energy. Okay. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Get him up here. All right, let's get started with Academic Challenge for March 1st already. When did spring break come in? I know we had last week March.
Yeah, last week March.
Kind of whenever I feel like we got another month. All right. So that's great.
Yeah, it's next week.
Spend the weekend at the corner of
Ours is next week.
Parkway and Naomi and just
That's why we're
have a
thinking
ball.
Lake Michigan College for their spring break. Yeah.
But you're thanking them for supporting us.
And their spring break. I get to thank my school. I get to recognize myself. I love it. In third person, too.
I almost died today.
Really?
Was it when your vending machine robbed?
Well, yeah, it's when I almost
Vending machine attack you?
I almost had an aneurysm when I think.
Almost burst the vessel.
Oh, my brakes just didn't work today
Oh,
for
yeah.
some reason.
It's your bro.
alien or did he die?
Technical difficulties.
Falling on them.
We're still on YouTube.
Yeah, you
died today.
I believe we win.
It's a terrible thing when those brakes do that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like
You feel so helpless.
I started sliding. I was like, this isn't good.
Car just keeps going. And you where are you
And this
going?
guy was just driving. He looked at me and he started clapping his hands, and I just wanted to follow him. And just,
But if you had, you probably would have just missed us.
yeah, probably.
No, only one.
I didn't
he's on
miss you
Alien
guys.
another time.
You guys missed me.
Do you actually believe this?
Were you like, where you at?
Was it just like a
On
lame
my road.
excuse for why he was late?
Ask him.
Was it just a lame excuse for why he was late?
The other road?
Yeah.
Going towards the only road.
I was late because someone died. No, that wasn't like lame.
Well, I was going the
100% the die one.
the way it's always worked
Like
before.
he turned around, but wait,
Two ways to get from the
like,
house to
what did you like call an ambulance or anything? No. What?
Because somebody went off the road on the highway like 2 months ago.
subdivision kind of place.
And then,
So we didn't tell you about it until way later?
no, he told us the day of.
I
He
know.
didn't,
Why?
he didn't like.
Nancy,
He turned around for no reason.
Well, you see, you
Called
can
an
pass
ambulance.
this
Yeah.
way,
So
or you
morning
can go
practice,
around.
She saw
to
someone
get
go
there
up
that way.
This way always.
So this is probably like 5
That's
o'clock
not
in the
what I
morning.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then
and
go the
then-
opposite
then he,
direction
like, sees
and
that
just
person
keep
go off,
going.
Then this is at least this is what he says. And he turns around and then goes home, and then that's why he didn't show up to practice in the morning.
He was so traumatized by seeing someone go off the road that he
Yes.
doesn't call an ambulance, doesn't do anything to help, just goes home and goes back to bed.
Yeah. Yes.
You see him at like after school practice. It's like, guy, like, why aren't you here for morning practice? I saw a guy die today.
No, that's literally what he said. Like,
Right,
who-
must
this
be
is
an ingress and an egress.
exaggeration.
Okay, here we go with the academic
That's why I love
challenge.
him.
All right, academic challenge for March 1st, 2016, 6 p.m. between St. Joe and Berrien Springs. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Academic Challenge on WSJM. I'm Ray Gustafson, your host and moderator. Today we're featuring teams from Berrien Springs and St. Joseph. WSJM's Academic Challenge features scholastic competition involving high schools from around Southwest Michigan. Academic Challenge sponsored by Berrien Springs Public Schools, Lake Michigan College, Lakeshore Public Schools, and the Cook Nuclear Plant. Let's meet the teams. First, from Berrien Springs, we'll start on the right. Why don't you introduce yourself, say what grade you're in, and what do you think about this weather?
Well, I'm Joseph James Johnson. I'm a what am I? I'm a sophomore, and I
Fifth-year senior.
well, pretty close.
And
Something
Give or
about the
take.
weather. What is this? Small talk? We're not doing this. You know, Brady's got this.
all right.
Suit yourself, Joe. My name is Brady West. I'm a junior, and I am ready for spring.
There you go.
Had like 2 teasers now, and I want it back.
My name is Callie Staub. I am also a junior, and I think the weather is pretty interesting.
It's mocking us.
I'm Matthew Reeves. I'm a senior, and can I say this on the radio about the weather?
Sure.
Keep it clean.
We have a beeper. Yeah. For those listening, for those listening on air right now, we record the academic challenge on Tuesday nights, and you're listening to it back here on Sundays. And so we just wanted to, and of course, if you think back to Tuesday, which is what we're doing right now, the weather's not all that great.
It's
So
killing the magic.
yeah, I know. It just
Yeah.
kills the
Supposed to be
magic.
like
So.
in the 60s next
Yeah,
week.
so
though.
this weekend when you're listening, it's probably you're going, well, what are they talking about with the weather? So, all right, let's move over to St. Joseph, and we have
I'm Patrick Fisher. I'm a senior, and I think this weather is pretty awful.
I'm Ryan Faulkner. I'm a senior, and there's ice.
yeah, a little bit of that.
I'm Hudson Wellen. I'm a sophomore, and I want it to be warm.
Yes.
I agree.
I'm Ryan Erickson, sophomore, and yet pray awful.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Academic Challenge. We've got a few basic rules during the first and second halves. We will announce the value of each question before it's asked. When you press your button, make sure that you wait for me to call on you before you answer so I can recognize you and the people listening can know who is talking. No consultation allowed during the first and second halves, only during the 60-second round, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Again, my name is Ray Gustafson. I am your host and moderator. And we have Bill Klein back at the question desk of Academic Challenge. Welcome back, Bill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Caught up with me again.
Did you? Yeah, they found you.
I was hiding under that rock.
Is that what that was? So, shameless plug time. How's the play going, Bill?
The play is wonderful. Everybody should come and see it.
Tell me about it real quick.
Laughing Stock. It's
Yeah.
Twin City Players. It's a comedy about a theater company in New Hampshire putting on their summer stock shows of Dracula, Charlie's Aunt, and Hamlet. And not everything goes right.
Oh,
This
geez.
hapless crew. But we muddle through, and we provide some laughs and some tears.
Where's the play at?
It's at 600 Glenlord Road
Yeah.
in St. Joe. I guess it's Lincoln Township, but it's a St. Joe mailing address.
Right.
Second oldest community theater still in operation in the state of Michigan.
Fantastic. And it's sold out, so people can't get tickets
No,
anymore,
it's not
right?
sold out.
What?
429-0400. Call and get tickets or go online, twincityplayers.org.
Okay, and how long does it go for?
It
Yeah.
runs next weekend and the weekend following.
Okay, fantastic. So,
6
all right.
shows left.
And I hear there's flying bats.
We've got flying bats and flying beds.
Flying beds?
Flying beds. You never know where that bed's going to go.
And all the props work.
Everything works.
All right. Well, let's get started with Academic Challenge. Bill, are you ready?
I am ready.
Teams, are you ready on this snowy night?
So ready.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. All right, let's begin. Academic Challenge. Get your hands on your buzzers, and here we go.
For 5 points, name the peninsula about 70,000 square miles, mostly in Mexico.
We have Patrick from St. Joseph.
Yucatan?
That is correct for 5 points. For 20 points, what major battle on American soil with a foreign enemy was fought without the authority, consent, or knowledge?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Battle of Louisiana, New Orleans.
That's correct for 20 points.
All right.
Get your pencils out for this one.
Math question?
No?
No?
But you're going to need your pencils.
You'll need pencils, okay.
It's for 15 points. Match these titles: America, The Americans, An American Tragedy, Democracy in America.
Okay, let's repeat those one more time before you get to the authors.
It's America,
Mm-hmm.
The Americans, An American Tragedy, and Democracy in America.
Now the authors.
These authors:
And I'm going to have him say the authors twice as well. Mm-hmm.
Alexis de Tocqueville, Henry James, Franz Kafka, Theodore Dreiser. Alexis de Tocqueville, Henry James, Franz Kafka, and Theodore Dreiser.
Patrick from St. Joe.
It's American, written by Dreiser, The Americans, James, An American Tragedy, Kafka, and Democracy in America, de Tocqueville.
Incorrect.
Berrien Springs. Anybody want to try it? We have Brady from Berrien Springs.
America by that Alexis guy. The Americans by Dreiser. Tragedy by Franz. And Democracy in America by James.
Incorrect.
Wow.
Parts of each one. America was Kafka. The Americans was James. Tragedy was Dreiser. And Democracy de Tocqueville.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, for 5 points. Identify the authors of those four that, in fact, were American.
You want to list the authors real quick again? Oh, we got somebody who thinks they got it. Matthew from Berrien Springs.
James?
Should be
Incorrect.
There's more than one.
Authors.
Okay, Ryan E. from St. Joe.
James and Dreiser.
That is correct.
Okay, for
5 points.
5 points.
For 20 points. During the 18th century, in what sea were the most naval actions fought?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Atlantic Ocean.
Incorrect.
Ryan F., St. Joe.
Mediterranean.
Incorrect. The Caribbean or the Caribbean. One of those.
However you
Now,
say
here's
it.
a math question.
All right, pencils ready.
Pencils ready for
And we'll-
20 points.
And we'll have him say it twice here. So,
If you had 6 bills in U.S. currency that totaled $63, and you did not have any $1 bills, what bills would you have?
say it again.
If you had 6 bills in U.S. currency that totaled $63, and you did not have any $1 bills, what bills would you have?
We have Hudson from St. Joe.
A $50 bill, a $5 bill, and 4 $2 bills.
That is correct for 20 points.
20 points.
For 10 points, according to Pharaoh's command, how were the male children of the Israelites to be destroyed?
Cast
Hudson,
into the
St.
Nile.
Joe. Hold on. Hudson, St. Joe.
Cast into the Nile River.
That is correct for 10 points. For 15 points, all of this author's novels could be called the story of a crime, laments Albertine in Marcel, Proust's Remembrance of Things Past. For example, Fredka slays the Lebiakin family in whose novel The Possessed?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Stephen King.
Incorrect. Good guess, though.
Yeah.
Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, moving right along for 15 points. What's the heaviest land bird in North America?
Patrick, St. Joe.
The ostrich. No, it's not.
Incorrect.
Callie, Berrien Springs.
The chicken.
Close. The wild turkey.
The wild turkey.
For 5 points, what do plants breathe in that
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Carbon dioxide.
That is correct for 5 points.
5 whole points.
For 10 points, what weather phenomenon causes more deaths in the United States annually than any other except
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Hurricanes.
Incorrect.
Go ahead and finish the question.
Except lightning.
Okay. Ryan E., St. Joe.
Flooding.
I'm sorry?
Flooding.
Incorrect.
Nope.
It's tornadoes.
Tornadoes. Something
For 10
we don't-
points.
We don't have many of those around here, do we?
Yeah,
We had one a couple years ago.
few. For 10 points, what president lowered the voting age from 21 to 18?
Ryan E., St. Joe.
Nixon.
That is correct for 10 points.
About 2 minutes left, guys.
For 15 points, what is the collective name for the elements with atomic numbers from 89?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Actinides.
That is correct for
15?
15 points. Here's another math question for 15 points.
Pencils ready.
One day, a retailer sold 20 pairs of gloves. The cloth gloves sold for $4.95 per pair, and the deerskin gloves sold for $7.50 per pair. Per pair.
Mm-hmm.
The retailer took in $137.25 for all 20 gloves. How many pair of each kind were sold?
I know I'm going to ask you to repeat that again.
Oh, I knew you would. One day, a retailer sold 20 pairs of gloves.
Yep.
The cloth gloves sold for $4.95 per pair, and the deerskin gloves sold for $7.50 per pair. The retailer took in $137.25 for all 20 gloves. How many pairs of each kind were sold?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
14 deerskin and 6 cloth.
Incorrect.
Good try. Ryan F., St. Joe.
7 cloth, 13 deerskin.
Incorrect. It was 15 deerskin, 5 cloth.
All right.
For 5 points, what part of a computer produces paper copies of whatever is displayed?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
A printer.
That is correct.
For 5 points.
5 points. 15 points. What genius was Cesar Borgia's military engineer?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Leonardo da Vinci.
That is correct for 15 points. For 5 points, what are the 2 indefinite articles in the English language?
Ryan E., St. Joe.
A and an.
That is correct for 5 points.
For 5 points. You know what, Bill?
That's the end of the first half.
That's the end of the first half, yeah. That's the end of the first half of today's academic challenge. We'll be back with the score in the 62nd round right after this on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest. Go into the 62nd round of the academic challenge in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the academic challenge on WSJM. At the end of the first half, the score is St. Joseph 55, Berrien Springs 60. Close game. Now on to the 62nd round. Teams, you have 3 categories to choose from. We will give you 60 seconds to answer as many of the 10 questions as you can, each one worth 10 points. There will be a 20-point bonus if you can answer all 10 within 60 seconds. You are encouraged to consult with one another at this point, but the answers need to come from the team captains. After that minute is up, the opposing team will have a chance to answer any questions the first team could not answer. So, St. Joe, you're trailing by 5 points at the moment, so you have first choice of these categories, which are detectives, James, and on, O-N. On.
We'll go with James.
So, Patrick, you're going to go with James. And is there a setup on this one,
Yes.
Bill? So why don't you read the setup, and we'll get 60 seconds on that timer.
All these presidents have the given name James. From the descriptions I give, identify their last names.
Say it one more time, just so we're clear on it.
All these presidents have the given name James. From the descriptions I give, identify their last names.
Okay, 60 seconds on that timer. And the 60 seconds will begin as soon as he finishes reading that first one.
The only bachelor president.
Buchanan.
Yes.
That's correct? Okay.
Yes. The era of good feeling.
Monroe.
Correct. The father of the Constitution.
Madison.
Who's
Madison.
Needs to come from Patrick, yep.
correct?
Okay.
President assassinated in 1881.
Garfield.
Yes. The Mexican War president.
Polk.
Polk.
Yes. He arranged the Camp David Accords.
Carter.
Carter.
Yes. Elected president because he vowed to get us into war.
Pass.
Pass.
Who was our first dark horse president?
No.
Pass.
What president pardoned Vietnam draft evaders?
Carter.
Carter.
Yes. Who was our president when the Missouri Compromise became law?
Monroe.
Monroe.
Yes. Elected president because he vowed to get us into a war.
Polk.
Polk.
Incorrect. Who was our first dark horse president?
Polk.
Polk.
Correct.
9 out of 10.
Nice job, Ryan.
Look at that. So 90 points for St. Joseph. So Berrien Springs, I'm going to put 60 seconds back on that timer, but let's see what we can do. Are you ready? Callie, you're the team captain. All right, we're going to begin. Here we go, and let's do it.
Elected president because he vowed to get us into war.
We have 60 seconds to
Let's just
discuss
talk this thing through.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, so let's see.
Wasn't there a president who vowed to get us into World War either 1 or 2?
No,
Yeah,
because
but-
U.S. was isolationist for all of those. Besides, there was no James. Let's see, Garfield. There was no war around there. Buchanan. No.
I
He
like-
fled the Civil War. I kind of like Madison with 1812. Yeah.
Madison.
That's correct.
10 points. All right. So, well, between the two teams, we got them all right.
Yeah.
All right.
That
So
was very good, 'cause
St.
that
Joe
was
got
not easy.
got 9, and Berrien Springs stole away 1. So now we'll turn the tables to Berrien Springs. We have 2 remaining categories. We have detectives and on. So what do you think, Callie, for your team?
We will be going with on.
On it is. Bill, is there a setup on this one?
Yes, there is.
Read the setup for me, please.
Identify these words and phrases that begin with the word on.
We got this.
You got it?
We could do this.
Okay, 60 seconds on the timer. That'll begin as soon as he finishes reading the first one.
That might take a while.
Okay.
A translucent chalcedony quartz in layers of colors.
Yeah.
Onyx.
Onyx.
Correct. Recorded walking on thin ice for John the night her husband was murdered.
On thin ice.
I'm sorry?
On thin ice.
Incorrect. A burden, blame, or stigma.
Pass.
600,072 to the 0th power.
1.
Correct. The study of tumors.
Pass.
The passive bystander.
Onlooker.
Onlooker.
Correct. A kickoff that travels just far enough for the
Onside.
kicking team to recover.
Onside?
Correct. A song that opens All That Jazz, made famous by the Drifters, performed in the film by George Benson.
Pass.
What words that sound like their meaning?
Onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
Correct. A widely cultivated
Go ahead and finish it.
Asian herb of the lily family with a pungent edible bulbs.
Opium. No.
Need an answer.
Opium.
Incorrect.
All right, so they got 5?
3, 4, 5. Yep.
5 it is. So that means St. Joseph, we got 5 that you can potentially steal away. We put 60 seconds back on the timer. Patrick, your team ready? And here we go. All right.
Recorded walking on thin ice for John the night her husband was murdered.
Pass.
A burden, blame, or stigma.
Pass.
The study of tumors.
Oncology.
Correct. A song that opens All That Jazz, made famous by the Drifters, performed in the film by George Benson.
Pass.
A widely cultivated Asian herb of the lily family with pungent edible bulbs.
Onion.
Correct.
Why don't you go back since they got some time? Yeah.
Recorded walking on thin ice for John the night her husband was murdered.
Pass again.
Okay.
A burden, blame, or stigma.
Do you guys have any idea? Just trying to think. Something on.
Time's up.
Time's up.
Why don't you give the answers real quick,
Okay,
Bill?
the recorded walking on thin ice for John was Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
A burden, blame, or stigma, onus.
Mhm.
Study of study. I got
Yep,
that one
that
right.
one, yep.
The song that opens All That Jazz was on Broadway,
Mm-hmm.
and they got the rest of them right.
Got it. So they got 2.
20 for St. John.
20 for St. Joe. All right, so we will move on, and that ends the 60-second round. And so what we will do is check the scores and conclude the game next here on WSJM, the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest. And Patrick?
Yeah.
You can do it? Okay.
Let's go first.
Yeah.
All right, let's begin the second half. Here we go with the second half of the academic challenge in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the academic challenge on WSJM. The score at the end of the 62nd round, St. Joe pulled ahead with 165 to Berrien Springs at 120. Now time to find out what's happening at each of our participating schools. We'll start with Berrien Springs. Brady, tell us all the things going on.
Greetings from Berrien Springs High School. The second semester is well underway, and we're looking forward to the end of the third quarter. We would like to congratulate Garrett Cleveland, Ramiro Williams, and Tyreek Moore for qualifying for the state individual wrestling tournament, which will be held this Thursday and Friday at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Good luck, boys. Congratulations to our girls basketball team on their win last night in the first round of district play. They will face Lakeshore tomorrow night. We would also like to congratulate our competitive cheer team on their first ever regional competition appearance. Our Quiz Bowl team competed at the History Bowl NB at St. Joseph's Catholic Schools in South Bend on February 6th, and Brady West took fourth place in individual competition in the B portion of the event. We are looking forward to our Shamrock Quiz Bowl Invitational tomorrow night on March 2nd. The Academic Challenge team will also be hosting the first ever Shamrock's Got Talent show on Wednesday, March 16th at 5 o'clock p.m. in our high school gym. Before we close, we would like to thank Lake Michigan College, Berrien Springs Public Schools, Lakeshore Schools, Cook Nuclear Plant /AEP, and the radio stations of WSJM-FM 94.9 for sponsoring this event.
Was that a shameless plug in there, Bill?
I
Did
thought
you
you
catch
did a
that?
nice job with that. That was very good.
I heard
Nicely
very
done.
good.
Joseph Johnson's making an appearance on that.
All right. Well, let's move over to St. Joseph. And Patrick, let's see what's going on at St. Joseph.
Hello from St. Joe. Our winter sports are wrapping up and we couldn't be prouder of our teams. The boys swim team finished up a great season this past weekend, and our very own Ryan Faulkner is going on to compete at the state meet. Our boys and girls basketball team both qualified for the state tournament, and we wish them the best of luck. Our robotics team, the Average Joes, will be hosting a district competition next weekend. We would like to thank our sponsors, Lake Michigan College, Berrien Springs Public Schools, Indiana Michigan Power, Lakeshore Public Schools, and our host, WSJM.
Fantastic. And Patrick, you have a substitution coming in for the second half?
Yeah, CJ.
CJ, tell us about yourself and what do you think of this weather?
I'm CJ. I'm a junior and can stay this way. More snow days.
They're all really hoping for a
He's a
snow day.
skier.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this is Joe's identical twin brother, Mo.
Is that what it is? So now we're
Never
switching
knew
to Mo. Nah. All right,
Mojo.
let's continue on with the second half of today's academic challenge between St. Joseph and Berrien Springs. Bill, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Teams, you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
For 10 points,
Yeah.
with a
Clear.
name meaning the harbor in French.
Clear the.
Yep.
It's located on the estuary of the Seine. It's the most important port on the west coast of France.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Le Havre.
That is correct for 10 points. Oh, that's a B. For 20 points, what does Buddha mean in Sanskrit?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Enlightened one.
That's correct for 20 points. For 5 points, what is the legal charge for discourtesy to a judge?
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Contempt.
That is correct for 5 points.
There we go.
Plus, we would have accepted the guillotine, but that's
Mm-hmm.
all right. For 10 points, in what country would you find the greatest number of pyramidal buildings?
Patrick, St. Joe.
Egypt.
Incorrect.
Joseph, Berrien Springs.
Mexico.
That's correct for 10 points.
And that.
For 10 points, in 1891, H.S. Thompson opened in Chicago a restaurant different from any other than in business. He sold food at lower prices and was able to do it through an innovation which has become commonplace.
Patrick, St. Joe.
Refrigerator.
Incorrect. The type of restaurant has a particular name, which is what?
Matthew, Berrien Springs.
Geno's East.
Incorrect. It's cafeteria.
Cafeteria. By the way, the score's tied right now. Okay. Oh, wow.
Is it?
For 10 points, among his best-known creation was the flying cloud. Knowing that, what was Donald McKay's profession?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
An pilot.
Incorrect.
Ryan F., St. Joe.
Chemist.
Incorrect. He was a ship designer. For 5 points, in 1944, the U.S. Forest Service started what has become the most successful public service ad campaign ever? What?
Ryan F. St. Joe.
Smokey the Bear.
That is correct for 5
5
points.
points.
For 10 points, President Reagan took a break during the last day of his 1984 campaign to play Trivial Pursuit with his aides when he drew one question asking who said, "I am the Errol Flynn of B movies." What was the president's correct response?
Patrick St. Joe.
Myself.
Correct for 10 points. For 20 points, what woman was responsible for the U.S. Supreme Court's 1962 decision to ban prayer in public schools? Madeline.
There we go. What's with that bell? Holy-
Madeline Murray O'Hare.
All right.
All right. For 20 points, there are 2 answers required for this question. 2 answers. Who was Button Gwinnett, and what did he do that is so valuable?
Patrick St. Joe.
He was a constitutional delegate, and he signed the Declaration of Independence.
That is correct. For 20 points.
20 points.
For 5 points, who is described in the Bible as the King of Kings and Lord of Lords?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
The Lord, Jesus, God, that guy.
Jesus is the right answer. Yes.
For 5 points.
That guy. For 15 points, what New Mexico resort town was named for a game show?
CJ St. Joe.
Truth or Consequences?
That is correct for 15 points. For 5 points, Louis XIV told the Parliament in 1651, the state, "I am the state." Who told the French Senate in 1814, "I am the state"?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Napoleon.
That's correct.
There we go.
5 points.
For 15 points, who is the chief figure in Plato's dialogues?
Ryan E. St. Joe.
Socrates.
That is correct for 15. For 15 points, what is the most recent year that reads the same when turned upside down?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
1961.
That is correct. For 5 points, what city has a gold dome state house originally covered with copper by Paul Revere?
Patrick St. Joe.
Boston.
Correct.
4 5.
A math question for 20 points.
Ooh, a tough one. Get your pencils ready.
Compute the smaller difference in longitude between points located at 75 degrees, 59 minutes west and 102 degrees, 13 minutes west longitude.
Say it one more time.
Compute the smaller difference in longitude between points located at 75 degrees, 59 minutes west and 102 degrees, 13 minutes west longitude.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
36 degrees and 14 minutes.
Incorrect.
5 seconds, St. Joe. Patrick St. Joe.
27 degrees and 46 minutes.
Incorrect.
Very close.
Correct. 26 degrees, 14 minutes.
All right.
For 15 points, like the father of modern India, Mahatma Gandhi, who was not related to her, Indira Gandhi.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
India.
Incorrect.
Go ahead and finish the question.
Died in what setting?
St. Joe, I'll give you 5. Ryan E. St. Joe.
Prime Minister.
Incorrect. The setting, a New Delhi garden.
Okay.
For 15 points, what French physician started a training program in natural childbirth?
Right in, Patrick St. Joe.
Pasteur.
Incorrect.
I'll give you 5 seconds, Berrien Springs. Anybody? Matthew, Berrien Springs.
You're going to hate yourself. Lamaze.
Lamaze. Yeah.
Here's another math question for 20 points. A man bets $24 and gets back his original bet plus $48. He spends 25% of his winnings at a restaurant to celebrate and 50% of his winnings on a taxi to get home. If his salary is $240 and he bet his original from his salary, how much does he have when he gets home?
Okay, Brady from Berrien Springs.
$36 or 15%.
Incorrect.
Right on the bell, Ryan E. St. Joe.
105%.
Incorrect. $252.
All right, here we go. By the way, less than 2 minutes.
Okay, for 15 points. Discovered by two British scientists in 1898, this chemical element takes its name from the Greek word meaning new. What element?
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Neodymium.
Incorrect.
Go ahead and finish.
What element are we talking about?
St. Joe, I'll give you 5. Ryan F. St. Joe.
Nitrogen.
Neon.
Neon.
For 15 points. Traditionally, what movie awards are presented the day before the Academy Awards? These awards are for the worst.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
The worst Oscar.
Incorrect.
CJ, St. Joe.
It's the Razzies.
That's correct.
For 15.
15 points. 10 points. Founded in the 12th century, the Sorbonne is the seat of what French university? One of Europe's oldest.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Orleans.
Incorrect. The University of Paris. For 5 points. This square in our nation's capital was originally planned as the front yard of the White House. It is named for a French hero of the American Revolution.
Brady, Berrien Springs.
Lafayette.
That's correct.
You know what, Bill?
What?
That's it.
That's it?
That's it. That's the end of the academic challenge.
That was a good match, guys.
Yep, we'll tabulate the scores and announce the winners after this on
Two
WSJM,
good teams.
the news and talk of Michigan's Great Southwest. And we'll be done. So the wrap up in 3, 2, 1. We're back on WSJM's Academic Challenge to announce today's winner. Thank our sponsors. The winners by a score 255 to 200 to the team from St. Joe. Congratulations to both teams. Thank you for joining us on WSJM's Academic Challenge, brought to you by Lakeshore Public Schools, Lake Michigan College, Berrien Springs Public Schools, and the Cook Nuclear Plant. Join us again next week, Bill, because you know what that is.
That's the finals.
It's the finals next week. Go ahead as they go to head to head on the Academic Challenge.